Welcome everybody. Building a shipping container house on a budget, part 3. As you can see, we still have a long ways to go. We've got some of the window openings closed up for weather purposes. While I'm building the bay windows for these other rooms, because there's 6 of them that I had to build. Here I am starting to finish up some of the rooms in here to get ready for tape and texture and put cabinets in. This is just outside the bathroom where the girls can get ready if there's somebody else occupying the bathroom. So this is an outside sink and counter with plenty of receptacles for the curling irons and the blow dryers and stuff. And then this is the bathroom sink. We cut it at an angle and also decided to set the toilet at an angle. Here we are at Preston's room getting ready to cut out the opening for his window. And here he is, he wants to help. We almost got it out. There we go, we got that opening out in Preston's room. And you can see right above the kitchen windows on the second floor, I'm plasma cutting another window out in Electra's room. And there's Electra helping me push her opening out to get her window put in. There we have it. We got an opening on another room. And this is the back of the house. The 2 youngest, Preston and Electra, rooms are in the back here. Everybody got to choose their own rooms, and that's just how it worked out. Here we are welding some 2x2s to the wall. This would be an interior wall so that I can save on a little bit of space on the inside, and this will allow me to screw the OSB sheathing to it. There's Electra in her room, all excited. The holes in these containers are for metal receptacles that will house the outside lights. And there's our DIY swimming pool made out of cinder blocks and plastic because it was very hot out and the kids needed somewhere to cool off while they watched me work. This is where we kept a lot of our stuff while we were building. Here's our laundry room slash bathroom. Our hot water heater going in. There's our pocket door for the bathroom. And there's my oldest daughter, Carly, who was living with us at the time, moved out before the house was finished. We insulated every wall in this house, mainly for the temperature difference and partly for sound deadening. This is Electra's room. Got it all sheeted. That's Electra's room looking out into the neutral area. This is Leandra's room in the front. I know some of these pictures aren't exactly in order, but that's just how it ended up. Sometimes we had to move from one project to another just because we either ran out of material or it was time to do a different part of the house before we could finish that part. Here's Leandra in her room putting the covers on her receptacle wall plugs and moving into her room before it's finished because she was so excited, and I wasn't sure when I was going to be able to get the tape and texture done just yet. All the rooms at this time on the second floor do have power now. There's Electra in her room, joined by her brother Preston. There's Leandra again in her room. And there's Preston in his room, all excited. That's Jacob's room looking out into the neutral area. So the way we did these rooms is we did them from the oldest child to the youngest, knowing that the oldest child would need to enjoy their rooms for a shorter time than the younger kids. And here we are building bay windows now for all the kids' rooms. There's going to be 4 of these identical to each other. And there we have 2 of them finished out of 4. The other 2 are around there somewhere. So I'm only putting 1 window in their bay window. The other openings are siliconed in and then bolted in with self-tappers. We're lifting it up onto Electra's room and going to get it all set in place. Almost there. I built that crane jib for that forklift so that we could do these kind of jobs, because my forklift only lifts 10 feet high. You can see Preston down there, Jacob on my forklift, lowering it down for me so we can get the holes lined up. He had been driving this forklift since he was 10 years old. I think he was about 12 at that time. There you can see the bolts going in the bay window frame. And this was all definitely a family effort. There's Electra and Preston and my wife putting on the nuts for all the bolts that hold that bay window on. There we are working together. There I am safely hanging out the window on the second floor. Okay, now I'm being safe. Ta-da! Electra says. She's all excited. Got her bay window in. And there's Preston getting all the receptacle covers put on where he could. Okay, now we're putting Preston's bay window on. And there's Preston sneaking into his room. He's all excited too. There's Preston's room looking out onto the desert. And there is both of the bay windows on the back of the house on the second floor. And there's the front of the house before we could finish putting all the windows in. And the bay windows are on the second floor on the front. There you can see the skirting going on between the two containers. I have it insulated behind there. This is me getting everything moved out of the way so I can finish the skirting between the two containers. And there's our temporary propane tank until we could get a bigger tank to run the house. Now we're starting to get into the front entryway and cut in our door, because for a while there all we had was the back door to come in and out of the house. Getting it all cleaned up, getting ready to weld in a metal frame. Now that the metal frame is in, now we're going to start doing some of the walls around the framework there so that we can get the door mounted. There it is, the front door enclosed. Got the electrical finished up and the rest of the walls done. Now we're getting there, all the sheeting done. And in these pics, you're going to see my spiral staircase. Try to ignore that for now, because our next video will be on about the spiral staircase and how we built it. Now we're starting to get some wainscot put into the living room and in the entryway to give it a little bit more style. Working into the night because we are so excited to get this living room and entryway finished. Doing the crown molding in the living room, and you can see inside the kitchen there. This is the living room looking into the little hallway. We got all our helmets hung up there because we like to go four-wheeling. It was really hard to get that wainscot around that spiral staircase. Got a little bit of crown molding left to do there on the right. Here's the front of the house with all the windows in the bedrooms and the living room. And there's our load of windows that we bought for the spiral staircase and to finish up the other bedrooms. Here I am working on the spiral staircase housing, taking out the wood. The last set of wood right there is a little bit skinnier, and we did not plan on putting windows there, so I'm taking them out, cleaning up the framework, and we're going to screw in sheet metal. And eventually that sheet metal will have some kind of a scroll design on the outside of it to give it a little bit more decoration. There I am cleaning up around the edges of the smaller openings. There's my friend Greg and my two kids up there in the man lift trying to help. There's me and my two girls, Electra and Leandra. They wanted a ride in the man lift. Now we're starting to take the plywood out to put the glass in. Have to clean off all the old glue that was holding that wood in so that we could get a nice good seal. And you can see there on the right there of Greg the sheet metal in the smaller opening. This man lift was belonged to a friend of mine, and the longer we lived here in the valley, the more friends we made and the more people we got to know, and we were able to find out who had equipment that could help us do some of this work. So now that the spiral staircase was done inside this housing, we're able to take all the wood out and put glass in. Like I spoke in my earlier videos, I had to put the wood up first so that when I was welding this spiral staircase, I didn't weld splatter all over the glass. There's my lovely daughter Leandra. All smiles, of course. And there's Preston saying, "Man, it's bright in here now. It used to be darker." Good friends are nice to have. I wouldn't have been able to do this by myself, and my wife, being scared of heights, wouldn't have been able to help me. That man lift belonged to my good friend Sheridan. There it is, all the glass in there and all lit up for now. The kids wanted to turn on all the lights and take pictures. There's Preston on the inside, and Jacob on the outside. Those kids were all over this house. Inside, outside, upside down. They were everywhere. Okay, now we got the front lights on, the porch lights on. We're running up our electricity bill, that's for sure. Here's a little bit of decoration on the spiral staircase. But our next video will be on this spiral staircase and how we built it. There's Preston showing his tongue. And I'm mixing up the mud to start doing the texture of these rooms. With Preston's help, of course. And there's Preston checking out the consistency of the mud. And there I am taking a break because when you have that hopper full of mud, it gets heavy pretty quick. Now that all the texture's on, there's Electra painting her room. There's Leandra painting her room with her brother's help, Jacob. There's Electra painting her room with her younger brother, Preston. This is an earlier picture of the kitchen. In an earlier video, I told you I would explain why these jars are here and where they're going to be. And I said I'd build a metal shelf up up there, and there they are. My wife picked out the galley rail that we put there, and I screwed it from the bottom, and then she picked out the stain that would match the cabinets as close as we could. And underneath or behind that, those metal shelves, is under the counter lighting. Another picture of the house with all the glass in it. Now we got 2 more containers that we're going to add to this house, and I'm cutting them at a 45-degree angle, and these will go on each side of the house, on the first floor and on the second floor. The first floor containers on the living room side will actually be our food pantry, and the container on the first floor on the master bedroom side will be the walk-in closet. The shorter 2 of the 45-degree cut containers are going to be on the second floor, and they will be for the kids' walk-in closet. So each bedroom, including the kids' rooms, will have walk-in closets. Because as of right now, their rooms are only 8 foot by 12 foot long. I did the bay windows on their rooms to add a little bit extra room so they didn't feel so cramped. Here we are separating the first container that I cut. And there's Jacob on the forklift helping me. There's Preston checking out the work, making sure we did it right. There we are cutting the second container, 45-degree. Now this container had to be cut at a 45-degree angle, but opposite of the other container. So here I cut through the wood floor, and then I will lift it up and I will cut through the metal cross members. By cutting the wood floor, then from underneath it gives me a guide of where I need to cut the metal cross members. And the whole idea for cutting these at a 45, like I explained in our earlier videos, is we didn't want a square boxy house. So we wanted to add some angles to it, a little bit of flair, make our house unique. There we go, we got it cut in half. Now we got to separate the 2 pieces. There's our dog Bobo, keeping all the critters away. Now we're prepping the side of the house. This is the master bedroom side of the house. We're just prepping it to get ready to put that longer container that we cut at a 45-degree angle. And there you can see it there, starting to get it all mounted to the house. Now this is all just temporarily welded, because we are going to move the house here soon. Now we got the shorter piece above that first piece, and in between that bottom container and the house, I'll have to frame that in from scratch, and that will be my wife's sewing room. Now here we are on the living room side of the house with the first 45-degree cut container. And that's it for now.